Tell me about yourself. Hello, I am Given Toreng Ibanez. I live in Loknailon, Bogo City, Cebu. One little fact about me is that I'm currently a criminology student at Cebu Roosevelt Memorial College. When students study literature, they learn to appreciate words and their power. They travel to other realms, and times, through the text they read, they understand about their own culture and others. They learn to empathize with characters, to feel their joys and their pains. Importantly, they learn to consider multiple perspectives and understand the complexity of the what we call human nature. Take for example, George Orwell's Animal Farm. Do we feel Napoleon is fully responsible for the miserable lives of the animals lead? Aren't the animals responsible for their own plight too? Having allowed Napoleon to tyrannize them. In literature, as in life, things aren't always so clear. Clear cut in black and white, and therein lies the value of the subject. It prepares one for the ambiguities of life, to take uncertainties in one's stride, as what we call it. Moreover, in literature, students develop a sense of individuality, creativity as they develop their own opinions about their issues in their text. They also learn skills of persuasion. They need to convince others of their interpretations, and this builds their confidence. Studying history helps us understand and grapple the complex questions and dilemmas by examining how the past has shaped and or continues to shape global, national, and local relationships between societies and people and other cultures, because history gives us the tools to analyze and explain the problems in the past. It positions us to see patterns that might otherwise be invisible in the present, thus providing a crucial perspective for understanding and solving the current and future problems. For example, a course on the history of public health might emphasize how environmental pollution disproportionately affects the less affluent communities, a major factor in the Flint water crisis. Understanding immigration Understanding immigration patterns may provide a crucial background for addressing ongoing racial and cultural tensions as what we currently see in some local communities in the States and or in our own country in the Philippines, as most people actually have a specific stereotype for other people, such as other darker colored people, such as Africans, African Americans, and the such. Or, in case of the white people, the Koreans. We mostly buy white products because it is what we call some of the cultural or the racial or cultural pigmentation that other races have sufficed to say that they preferred. So continuing, in many ways, history interprets the events interprets the events and causes that contributed to our current world. In learning about the past, we often discover how our own lives fit into the human experience. Why we need to study Philippine literature. We study literature so that we can better appreciate our literary heritage. We cannot appreciate something that we don't understand. Through a study of our literature, we can trace the rich heritage of ideas that was handed down to us from our forefathers to their forefathers and their forefathers. Then we can understand ourselves better and take pride in being a Filipino, like other races do. So, why do we need to study Philippine literature? Every country has their own literary works, techniques, and styles that reflect their own context. Some stands out that they've been widely appreciated even by foreign individuals. An example of this is when we appreciate that we appreciate foreign cultures such as the Western NBA, the freedom of the United States, or how other countries are accepting of what we call some stereotypes. So, continuing, some stands out that they've been widely appreciated even by foreign individuals. Some of those are the works of William Shakespeare. Here in the Philippines, there are also great authors, including Jose Rizal and Francisco Balagtas, among others. Whereas Filipinos shall study our local literature, for they offer various dimensions. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet to utilize the powers of the Infinity Stones, which are the Mind Stones, Soul Stone, Space Stone, Time Stones, and Reality Stones. The Philippines has our great local authors and use their pen to utilize what we call the power of literature, similar to the Infinity Stones. Philippine literature enables us to connect with the mind of the authors. We are able to study, see, and understand their thoughts and ideas and become one with them. They could even control the minds of the audience by their way of writing or the flow of their literary works. By reading more local works, we'll be able to appreciate them and their own skills as Filipino authors. We could even learn from them and become author themselves or ourselves, as we develop our own critical thinking by reading. Studying our own literature gives us an incredible power. We obtain the power to preserve, power to create, and the power to influence people. Local literary works are treasures we can't replace, and treasures that do not and doesn't lose value, and continues to inspire even after centuries. And as we understand them more, we'll be able to share the legacy of our forefathers and the authors of our community, as well as influence our fellow Filipinos to study Philippine literature too. Literature also has the power similar to the Space Stone that enables a holder to create a portal to go through any place he would like through the power of imagination. Through reading local writings, one can travel through various places in the Philippines, whether it be a famous one or a newly introduced one by the author. This includes our local heritages, which are great treasures of our country as well. And as one travels, he definitely would learn more about the diverse culture and traditions of our country. This would include ethnic and indigenous people and their way of living, the differences between our races, cultures, and geographical locations can be set aside, for it would help us understand each another, that would later result to unity for our nation. It enables students and adults alike to identify with creeds, themes, languages, settings, cultures, identities, and lifestyles, as well as issues and perspectives. Literature is also a means for character development in children and young adults. The themes and characters can be a great source of inspiration and emulation, where values are embedded in stories and given life by the characters, can overtly shape the way our young think and behave. More than anything else, literature inspires our love of the country that is portrayed in the books, that should not be left hidden and untouched in the corners of libraries, only taken out when used for academic purposes. We visit these written accounts and glance at them once in a while, but afterward forget them as we succumb to championing everything foreign and unwittingly making ourselves strangers to our own language and culture. Cebuano literature has undeniably undergone marked changes. Over the years, young Cebuano writers embrace less formal forms, free verse, and spoken word poetry, to name a few. Not only are today's writers free to write how they want to, they are also free to write what they want. An increasing number of audacious works speak of topics like religion, sexuality, among others, in another light. Moving forward, the information revolution will continue to be an influential force in shaping the future of Cebuano literature. The rising popularity of ebooks is a testament of that, such as innovation and other advances are only beginning to create a shift in literature of the West, but they stand a good chance of producing similar effects in the local scene. The challenge of inspiring students to appreciate local literature still remains. After all, technology makes it only a little easier to understand the intricacies of a poem or an epic. But going back to the core of learning and appreciating local literature, it is that we hear the hopes, fears, and angst of ordinary people, the pulse and the soul of a nation, as the stories mirror the society around us. These local works across languages enhance our national fabric and identity as a people, and so it is vital to preserving our rich heritage. It is my earnest hope that literature will gain more traction as we evolve into a more gracious society. The Mindanao has its hidden literature is that everybody doesn't know. Culture which displays the features and culture of the Muslim people in the Philippines. Mindanao has 33 ethno-linguistic groups which 13 of them are Islamized, 19 are Lumads, and third and fourth are Christian settlers. It was when the Americans colonized the region and the lands of the Lumads and Muslims have been taken by the colonists. So they had lost their large area of their ancestral lands. The land ownership comes from Muslim is Tawhid, which means oneness in or unity. Especially literature in Mindanao, especially the folk literature, in cultural communities, as in other Filipino groups, follow the oral tradition in folks, myths, legends, epics and poems, riddles and proverbs are handed down by word of mouth from generation to generation as what we did in the past.